All right, let's jump to it. I think everyone's in the room. It's our pleasure here to launch our first of this season's off-season Chalk Talk with Coach Galanopoulos and Antonius Cleveland. Obviously, the season did not end the way that we wanted it to in terms of hanging a banner. But as far as I'm concerned, we didn't lose in the playoffs, so we must have. I think we should hang a banner anyways. We'll figure out what we should call it, and we'll make it happen. But we obviously had a tremendous season, and looking forward to eventually getting to where we can work from the office again, and getting guys like Antonius and Coach Galanopoulos back on the court. I'm very confident with two people like these two that they have not stopped getting better during this time. But I am also sure that they both are looking forward to getting back on the court and in a more active fashion. So I'm going to step away, and I'll still be here, but I'm going to turn the reins over to Brittany Wynn, who's got some questions. And folks, if you have your own questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll check it occasionally, or in the Q&A place, and we will check that occasionally and come back at the end with some questions from our fans. But Brittany, take it away. Let's hear from these two legends, all-stars.
Well, thank you guys both for being here. It's so good to see your faces, even though you're not here. Just little basketball is good. It's fun. So thanks for that. Let's start. What have you guys been up to since the season was postponed? AC, we'll start with you and an introduction to our guest star.
This is Kai. He's getting a little sleepy though, but this is pretty much what I've been up to. Watching a lot of stuff on YouTube, movies and whatnot, and I never really used to get outside as much before all of this, so now I look forward to going outside as well and taking walks and jogging and whatnot and working out here at home. I kind of turned my kitchen into like a little weight room area, but other than that, it's just been like a routine thing every day, try to get a workout in, nap, go for a walk, and just spend time with my family pretty much.
Love it. Am I the only one that drives everywhere with my windows down?
Oh, yeah, I do. I keep my windows down as well.
I saw this meme the other day, now I get why my dog likes to stick his head out the window when you drive. I was like, yes, I relate to that.
I seen one that says, I know why my dog gets excited to go outside, and I understand that now too. When it's time to go outside for a walk, it kind of brightens my day a little bit, especially when it's nice out.
Right. George, what about you?
A little bit of the same. I don't have a little George to take care of back home, so AC's probably been busier than I have on that front. But just using this opportunity, to get in touch with a lot of people maybe that I didn't speak to throughout the year, staying in touch with our staff, been in touch with the players a little bit, reading a lot, watching film from the previous season, just evaluating, seeing how we could be better moving forward, just trying to learn and personally get better, working out, using this as an opportunity to eat a little bit better. Again, all those things that we say we didn't have time for during the season, now we don't have that excuse. So, it's an opportunity to just try to get better at, whatever it is that we want to get better at, keep in touch with people, and definitely never take a hug or a handshake for granted ever again too. So excited to come out of this thing at some point. But yeah, just trying to stay busy and productive and be grateful for kind of where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely makes you realize how much we took for granted. So let's talk about the season. When we finished up, we were 24-19, I think, poised for playoffs, finishing strong. George, it's your first season as head coach. How did you feel like the season was going?
I thought it was great, and it was unfortunate timing for the ending of the season, just because I thought we really started to catch our stride. There was great team chemistry, a lot of roster continuity as opposed to the rest of the year where guys were going kind of back and forth, a lot of times throughout the season. So I thought we were coming along. We'd won 5 out of 6, going into the 3-game home stretch, and we were playing our best basketball this season. And I think guys were really having fun. That was the key, is that guys seemed to be having fun. They were enjoying it. And we all were, the staff as well. And just as an organization, it was exciting times. And we were looking forward to playing some meaningful games. And the great part about it to me was I really felt, after the season, talking to guys and during the season, like a genuine care for how the team was doing, not just individual accolades or individual play, but guys really caring about how the team did, how each other did. And when you have that, along with winning basketball games, it's really, really special. So, overall, I'd say the season was a success. And it was unfortunate not being able to play it out, but it was a lot of fun and a great experience nonetheless.
AC, talk about the team and the chemistry that you guys had. He touched on it a little bit, but talk about it from your standpoint.
I think as a team, I think we was coming a long way as far as chemistry and whatnot, and getting a feel for one another. With the G League, you get a lot of roster changes and whatnot, and I think we were starting pretty much to really just, our team was finally shaped with the players that we had, and to make the home stretch with, like with Tyler and Josh coming along as well as Cam. And, I think we were playing pretty good basketball, and we can only get better. And we were just excited about closing the season out. And I know everyone had their eyes on the playoff race as well. And I feel like we all knew we was in a pretty good shape, and we wanted to build on that and continue to keep getting ready, towards the month of April. And when everything happened, I know safety is important and whatnot, but I think as a team, as far as chemistry, I think we all had the same goal, and that was like getting into the playoffs and making a run, pretty much. I think everyone can say that.
Have you guys been in contact since the postponement, or is there a group chat going on? Or
yeah, we have a group chat that players get in. And the last time we talked in it, I think it was like about I think someone asked about the stimulus stuff or whatever. So that was the last time someone, I think it was Brandon. I think it was B. Fields who made us talking about it. Anyone get their stimulus or whatever. But that was the last time I think we talked in it. No, you know what? Someone sent Luka a new pair of shoes in there, and we talked about that. And that was a couple of days ago. But we keep in contact here and there. I know I haven't played the game with Jay Reeves yet or anything like that. But I think we still keep in contact for the most part, sending messages on Instagram, stuff like that. And that there's another way of showing like our team chemistry. Like even though the season over, we still keep in contact and whatnot, which lets you know it's more than kind of just basketball with us. And I think you don't get that a lot with some teams. I think it's just business and it's kind of like work. But with this team, I just felt like it was more of like a connection and like a brotherhood and off the court as well.
We've heard that a little bit in some of the league stuff that, some of the players or teams may have kind of checked out, and seems like not you guys. Who's the most active in the group chat?
Most active in the group chat, probably Chad. I want to say maybe
Is he
Chad.
sending y'all?
Nah, he ain't sending any TikTok. He told us to go follow him on there though, but he hadn't like seen any videos there. But he did tell us he got a TikTok. He said all he's been doing is making TikTok videos. He's been making plenty of TikTok videos, but he haven't seen any in the group though.
George, have you seen these TikToks yet?
I'm not a huge TikTok guy. I've seen some of them. Chad's obviously a strong personality, and that's a big part of the reason why we love him. I know he's been on a social media binge ever since this season ended. But, it's, just kind of speaking on what AC said, it's not many people realize, like, at least for a coach, like how gratifying that is to see that the team's still keeping in touch. The G League, I think, inherently has this stigma about it. It's a very selfish league. Guys are just looking to, get on the team just to get out and get a call up and a contract and all this other stuff. And to see a team like really enjoy the process and enjoy getting to know each other to the point where now they're still keeping in touch is something that I just think is really, really cool. And, hopefully once we get back into it in the season and these guys either come back or go elsewhere, that they can really appreciate wherever they're at in the group, because, a lot of lifelong relationships could forge from it. So it's really cool to see these guys continuing to stay in touch.
Absolutely. Speaking of social media, there was a video posted, I think Wednesday, of you at Michael Jordan's camp. So I heard there's a story behind that. I think we need to hear that story.
AC, did you see that air ball I threw up?
I did. I was mostly just fascinated with like the whole thing. I really didn't pay attention to the shot. I don't think nobody really cared about the shot, but I did see it though. Yeah.
So the kind of the cool story behind it is I was 11 years old, and it was like a 3 or 4 day camp. And on the second day, Michael shows up, and we're in our teams playing on 5 or 6 different courts. And he walks out, and he's obviously, especially to an 11-year-old who was one of his biggest fans growing up, he's this polarizing figure, and he's just walking around the courts and he's reffing, he's talking some smack to the kids, just really enjoying it. And he comes over to our court, and by the grace of God, I maybe had the best 5-minute stretch of basketball in my lifetime as an 11-year-old. I had a couple steals, for fast break layups. I hit a couple threes, and I actually hit one shot to cap it off at the buzzer of the second quarter. So he was kind of like talking smack to the other kids about me doing well, and it was like the coolest moment ever. Well, fast forward to the next day, he's doing a free throw clinic in front of the entire camp, and there's parents there, kids. There's like 600 people in the gym all lined up around the three-point line, and I was sitting on the baseline. And obviously he's, every kid is going crazy to raise their hand and shoot free throws, and he said, if you hit 2 free throws, you can get a pair of my shoes. So he starts picking kids out of the crowd, and he saw me and recognized me underneath the baseline from the day before. Mm-hmm. So he called me up, and obviously as his biggest fan, 11-year-old, I choked, and I missed the free throw really badly. And it was really cool. What you saw in the video was kind of the aftermath of him saying, I watched you all day yesterday, man. You didn't miss a shot. And he daps me up. He gives me a handshake. And I've never been more speechless in my entire life. I didn't even know what to say. I couldn't even be cool about it. But it's one of those stories you forget about and don't really talk too much about it. But definitely one of the highlights of my entire life, just growing up a Chicago fan and a huge Michael Jordan fan. It was really, really cool.
It was dope. Was it Jordan's camp? Whose camp was it?
It was Michael Jordan's camp. It was a camp that he had in Chicago. I don't know when he started it, but it was in like a suburb of Chicago.
Gotcha.
And trust me, as you saw from the airball, I wasn't that good, so it wasn't like an invitation camp. You just, whoever signed up first got to go. So thankfully my parents got me in, and it was obviously a memorable experience.
So we had a question come in that's related to this. What do you guys think of, or Coach, what do you think of the Last Dance series?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I think even if you're not a Chicago fan, if you just have any interest in the story itself of Michael Jordan and the Bulls dynasty, it's great cinema. And I think the coolest part about it, for me and anybody else watching, is the raw, uncensored dialogue of Michael Jordan, being interviewed and not really holding back at all. He doesn't talk much in the media. He comes out with statements here and there that are very formal, but he's not on Twitter. He's not on Instagram. He's not a social media presence as much as some people are today. So to get this raw, uncut, uncensored version of Michael behind the scenes is, I think, one of the coolest things that I've ever seen on TV. So especially as a Bulls fan, I love it. I wait every week for Sunday night. I'm working for Sunday.
Exactly.
So you guys know I have to ask the debate, LeBron, MJ, Kobe, which one you going?
We'll start with AC. I got to hear this.
With me, I was always leaning towards, LeBron as far as like his skill set and what he brought to a team and just how he played the game. But it's just hard to like go with, say, LeBron when you got someone that's like 6-0. Won 3 in a row, retired, came back, won 3 in a row, then retired again. I didn't realize Jordan retired after he did so much. Like he won in that season, the last season. I didn't know he won all those accolades and then retired. So, I mean, that means he probably could have finished without 8 rings. He probably could have went 8-0. I mean, enough said, I'm probably going to have to say Jordan.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer, AC. The bias in me for sure, and we could go on and on about it. I would pick Michael Jordan. I think the argument is a legitimate argument. Anybody could side with LeBron and say that he's more talented and he's got more to his skill set in his toolbox and he's a better passer, he's a better rebounder. You can absolutely make that argument. I don't think it's very clear cut and dry like some fans of either player think. But if I want somebody taking the last shot, somebody to lead me to a championship, depending on who else you have in the roster, I'm going with Michael Jordan. No disrespect to Kobe Bryant either, but Kobe Bryant will even be the first to admit that was his game is modeled after Michael Jordan's. And I think it is ironic that he ended just short of matching the amount of rings that Michael did. So it's, he copied him, quote unquote, to a degree and added his own little flair as well. But, I got to go Michael Jordan for sure, but anybody can make the argument for any one of them.
What about you, Brittany?
I am going to refrain from answering that one.
No.
I'm asking the questions here. What are you guys doing?
I don't want this PC stuff, okay? You need to answer.
So, I really love Kobe, always have, but I think I would have to go with Jordan. And I think George was right. There's a case to be made for all three guys, but I think I grew up in the right era, so I won't say which one that is. But but yeah, I'm gonna go with Jordan. So, but now I'm asking the questions here.
Okay.
Back to the season. Back to the season. What we wore a lot of jerseys, not quite 24 of them. We had 21, I guess. AC, what was your favorite one to wear this year?
I like the blue Jordan one.
Yeah, that was a good
I
one.
say that's my favorite.
George, you weren't wearing them, but did you have a favorite?
Say that again?
I said you weren't wearing them, but did you have a favorite?
Oh, sorry, you kind of broke up. I really there were a lot of cool ones, obviously, but I think for the sake of what this jersey represented, I love the breast cancer awareness jerseys. Again, I think just the what it represented that night and the amount of people that were involved in the building. I think just to me that was my favorite one, from a whole standpoint. So I'd have to go with breast cancer awareness jerseys.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think we'll do another. We did a bracket last year and picked like the winning jersey. The fans get to pick it. I think we're going to do that again this year. But what about favorite moments from the season? You guys have any funny stories to tell? Any really inspirational? Give us a behind the scenes look.
I'll let you take this one.
I'm trying to think because there's so much funny stuff that happened. But your question was the favorite moment or funny moment?
Both.
Both. I'll say my favorite moment had to be my favorite moment. I probably have to say it's a couple games. I want to say the comeback game against the Fort Wayne, the Ants. That game we came back because like right before we came back, we kind of hold it up. I want to say sometime in that third or whatever, and we just told everyone on the court told each other like, let's turn it on. Like we understand we're playing bad and whatnot, but let's turn it on. And I think after we huddled up or whatever, I mean we got clicking, and I think we was down. How much were we down, Coach? I think that game against the Fort Wayne. What?
Yeah, at one point in the first half, we were down close to 20.
Yeah, and just the fact like how we rallied together and came back, and Dakota hit that big shot and we ended up winning. I think that that feeling was good because we that was like the first time of that year or whatever. I felt like we turned it on and we won. And also I'll say Sioux Falls when we came back on them and won the first time because Sioux Falls was talking a lot of stuff and they thought they had the game won, and I mean we came back and took that one away from them too. So I say a couple of those comeback games that we won was probably one of my favorite moments of the season. And I'm trying to think of one of the funniest moments of the season. I really can't think. I'll probably have to wait till Coach goes so I can just try to remember one of my funniest moments.
You can let him go first. We're going to tell everyone that he filtered you because they weren't here to hear that, but AC has been filtered by Coach.
Just a mutual understanding between us both. I think kind of piggybacking off of what AC said, those two games that he mentioned were actually back-to-back. So we went on a road trip in the beginning of the year. We had just won 2 in a row at home. And then we went to Sioux Falls. We pulled that one out, which was a comeback win. And then the very next day or 2 days later maybe, we went to Fort Wayne and then had another comeback win. So the feeling throughout the team, just on the plane ride, the bus rides, everything, that road trip from those 2 wins, there was this feeling of we can come back, and all you need is 1 game, let alone 2 in a row, to prove that you can do that. And I think that was something that was really memorable about that, was just the feeling amongst the group that, we can do this. We can do this. Doesn't matter how much we're down, how we're playing. If we want to turn it on, we can turn it on. And, AC can speak to this. There's only so much that as a coach you can tell them during a game. For most of the game, they are on the court and they are playing and they are communicating with each other. And I thought one of my favorite parts of this team and one of my favorite characteristics was the amount that they communicated on the court with each other. It was unprecedented for a G League team, considering this was the 5th G League team I've been a part of. They were the best communicating team on the court with each other. I think it speaks to the type of guys that they are and also how well they gelled in a very short amount of time. So, to see them have each other's backs on the court, as a coach, that's the most powerful thing, is that you don't have to yell out to them every single possession. You don't have to call a play. You could just allow them to be themselves, and to watch them communicate and fight through those moments to come back and win games was one of the coolest things to see. And it happened a number of times throughout the year. So those were my most memorable moments, for sure.
You had some really strong leaders on that team. What would you say were the team's greatest strengths on the court?
I would say, from a tangible aspect, we were tied for second in all of the G League in assists. And obviously you gotta make baskets to get assists, but it also shows, I think, the character of our team and all the guys as individuals is that they were willing to share the basketball. And that was from day one. And it reflected in, having a high assist rate, obviously. We were top 6 in offensive rating, and a lot of that had to do with sharing the ball, getting stops on the defensive end, and getting out in transition. And I think when we got stops and we got out and we ran and allowed these guys and their skill sets to kind of take over, I think we could all agree that that's when we were most exciting, is when we got out in the open court and allowed these guys just kind of be themselves and play. And then towards the end of the year, the last 7-8 games, I thought that defense became one of our strengths for sure. We really started to lock in on the game plans, and individually guys were getting better as well, and they were just kind of buying in to what was happening. So that, I think, is what really jump-started that 5-game win streak, was a sheer commitment to the defensive end. So I think those were some of our strengths, especially towards the end of the year.
Absolutely. Reading some of the chats here, Brian said his favorite moment of the season was pregame fist bumps with Coach from his seat on the baseline. So shout out to Brian.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. We got an air bump all the way across Dallas.
Yes. And Shirley said that it says a lot about you as a coach as well, that you're empowering them and not intimidating the players making decisions on the court. So that's definitely true. AC, how did you get better this year, and what do you think you still need to improve on?
I think I got better with guarding bigger players and whatnot. I just felt like I kind of accepted the challenge amongst myself, and I know the coaching staff as well challenged me to guard bigger guys or whatnot, and I think I accepted that. And not saying I shut a lot of big guys down, but just the challenge of going up against that strength, that some of these guys in the G League have, like a couple centers that's really NBA centers, knowing that I could, do my best and, stopping them here and there to help my team, get wins or whatever. I think that was my biggest challenge, because I feel like I can always guard a guard or anyone close to my height. And but just taking a step forward and guarding someone bigger that outweighs me, is taller than me and stronger. I think that's a challenge that I kind of had fun accepting along the way. And I think as far as me getting better, improving on anything, of course it'll be like my shooting and stuff like that. I feel like that's the most key thing with me, is shooting and stuff like that. But as well as just improving ball handling in all aspects of my game as well, because I feel like you're never too good at anything. So y'all can always improve on everything. But just for the main part, I'd say shooting, my shooting.
Who would you say is the toughest player that you played against in the G League?
Toughest player that I played against? Well, the guard, I'll say Kevin Gale, the center from the Clippers, just because he was big and fast, and not only guarding him with the ball, just trying to box him out every play and stuff like that. I would say he made me work every time. So I'll probably have to go with him because his upside was I feel like he has an NBA upside as far as for a center in the NBA. So I'll say definitely him.
What's something you both learned from this team?
I'll go first.
Yep.
Well, if you look at our team, I didn't realize how many rookies we had until one day I just was sitting down before the game, and I was just looking at the media guide, and I think maybe just me and B Fields, and I think for a while me and B Fields I think we end up being the only people who were not rookies, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, Dakota he has 1 year overseas in his belt, but yeah, I mean, I think besides you two and Cam too, everybody else was a rookie. Yeah.
Yeah, so one thing about this team was like I didn't know we had so many rookies, and just the fact that everyone bought in, and on paper we probably wasn't the most talented team night in and night out, I guess, with if you want to say that, but just the fact that how we bought in and we played together. I think we played together a lot, and that's why we won a lot of games against a lot of teams. Because in the G League, I think you got teams that can become selfish and players who are just trying to get out of there, like Coach said. But I think with this team, we played together a lot. Like second in assists, offensive rating was good, and we started to come together on the defensive end. So I'll just say our team chemistry and the morale of the team was all going towards the right direction, and I think that's what made us so successful. It was our unselfishness and our unity.
Yeah, I agree with AC, and I think I keep going back to this, and I kind of sound like a broken record every time somebody asks me a question about my favorite part of the team. But what I learned most from this season and being around this group, not just the players, but the staff and the rest of the organization, is the power of a team and the power of a group that has high character people. And the more good people that you can have in your building, the better. I just think the better experience it's going to be. And a lot of people will say, well, winning helps and winning takes care of that, and everybody's happy because we were winning. I personally think that we started winning games because of the people that we had, because of the morale around the team every day. If there was a time during the season, there were a couple of times where we lost 3 in a row. One time we lost 4 in a row. And when it should feel like the wheels are coming off, we would go to practice, and to me, it didn't seem any different. Maybe I was a little edgier than other days, but the guys seemed to be having a good time. And, we were still playing music, enjoying it, staying loose, and kind of keeping a fresh perspective on it. And I think that's how we pulled ourselves out of those holes a lot. And, I knew going into it, it's important to have high character people around, but when you're in it and you experience it and you see the success that is a byproduct from the people you have in the building. Again, our staff was incredible. AC can speak to that as well. Just selfless people, all about the guys and just enjoying it. You see that the score at the end of the day and wins and all that stuff, it just takes care of itself. Everybody really enjoyed it. So the power of the group and the power of just good people collectively is something I learned firsthand this year.
And AC, you've been on a couple of different teams. So the start, we played Memphis in that back-to-back there and then home, which was a really tough way to start off the season. And starting out 0-2, what's your mindset at that point as a player, and how did you guys pull yourselves out of that?
Well, I know the entire team knew how, with 50 games and getting off to an 0-2 start. I think we was leading in a lot. In both those first 2 games, we were kind of leading the majority of the game, I want to say, especially that second game. But, we just kind of like Coach said, we didn't get down. We knew what we did wrong, what we needed to work on. So we just and at the time, we knew we had to play Memphis a couple more times as well. So we wasn't really just dwelling on a loss, but it was more so what we did wrong and how we wanted to put those 2 games behind us and just, get ready for the long season ahead. And I think we ended up winning the next 2 after that. I think we lost 2 then won the next 2 for sure, I think, Coach, right? Against,
right.
The Suns and I can't remember the other team. So I think we didn't get down too much. We knew it was a long season. So after we dropped the first 2, we just wanted to get on the right track. And at that time, we were still trying to find our identity as well. So, we knew it was early on in the season, and we just wanted to, get back on the winning track or whatnot. I don't think we really just got too down on the first 2 losses and whatnot. We had a group of guys who knew how long the season was, and I think we just stayed together and found our identity.
If the season started back up tomorrow, what would you be most excited about? Besides just getting out of the house.
I kind of miss like Baba and Madiq, guys like that. Those guys just used to. They was just funny in their own ways, because when you play this game and you learn, I think you get to meet people from all over the world, and just those 2 guys, Madiq and Baba, just obviously 2 guys, from somewhere else, and you just kind of I just feel like it's cool just learning about someone. Like you asked me my funniest moment of the season, and as I think about it, it had to be when Baba started to go out to eat more with us and the team. We really got to see him, and I think a lot of people don't know how funny Udai is, as well as Madiq. So I'll probably miss all of my teammates, of course, getting out the house and starting the season. Of course, I'll be ready to play basketball again, but I mean, when you go from being around guys every day, they become like your family. So I'll just be more excited to see, you know, guys like Baba Madi, but really my entire team, the coaching staff as well, just seeing everyone and getting out the house as well, like you said. But yeah,
I'm glad he mentioned the coaching staff. I was getting worried for a sec.
Yeah.
George, what about you?
Kind of along similar lines. I'd be excited about seeing the guys again. You know, one of my favorite parts of, you know, pre-practice or, you know, post-practice was just guys trickling in one by one and having the opportunity to walk up to every single one of them and say what's up, whether it's a quick hi, hello, you know, hug, handshake, whatever it is, or it might turn into a 15-minute conversation. You know, I miss those moments because I really enjoyed having those guys on the team, you know, and that again speaks to the character of these guys. And when you got good people in the building, you just enjoy being around them. And that was my favorite part of it. I mean, for me personally, as a coach in my first year doing this, you couldn't have asked for a better group of people to develop, you know, in your first year as a coach. Just the patience that they had with me and how hard they worked. And it was a blessing for sure. So I would just be excited to see the guys again, say hello, and, you know, lose my mind again during a practice, and I'll allow them to still love me for it regardless, hopefully.
AC, were there ever any moments where it was like, yeah, he's the first year head coach? Like,
To be honest, I mean, I know Coach can tell you when I was talking to him, I told Coach it didn't seem like this was his first year. I just felt like he was poised, composed, like, for, like, majority of the season. And let me think. I'm trying to think, but maybe it's something funny he did. But
you never got thrown out of a game, so that's –
yeah. So, I mean, I really can't think of a moment where he seemed like a first-year coach. I mean, I really can't think of anything. Maybe he did something when I was gone or something.
Did you see the first game in Memphis, the very first time out, when I went to sit down and the chair was folded up?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that's a story that a lot of us forget, but it was our first time out. And the chair in Memphis, it's like this infamous chair on the visitors bench that I think they purposely put this chair there so this happens. It was sitting out for me to sit down during the timeout, and I didn't even see it. It was folded up. And I went to sit down thinking it was folded down, and it was our first time out of the season, and I completely wiped out. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, that can't be a good omen for the rest of the season. But it quickly, you know, thank God for their Snow and Nelson Tarobin, our other assistants, who got a very good perspective on things and just kind of patted me on the back and said, "This is going to be a fun year." So,
forgot about that.
That was pretty embarrassing for sure.
We definitely need to pull the footage on that. I don't remember that.
Thankfully, I don't think it was on camera, but I certainly remember it, and my lower back remembers it as well.
What about AC touched on funniest moments? Other than falling on the ground, that may have been most embarrassing. What other funny moment do you have for us?
Oh, funny moment. They probably got some great ones that they can't tell you about. I remember from, you know, when I was like an intern years ago driving the vans in Bakersfield, California, my favorite moments were just the conversations that these guys had and the banter that would go back and forth. So you're around it a little bit less when you're a head coach, but I loved any opportunity just to be around the team and be in the locker room, you know, writing something on a board and just kind of hearing the banter go back and forth. When you hear those guys just behind closed doors, kind of giving each other a hard time and, you know, the uncensored banter, it's really, really funny. We had a really funny group. You know, he spoke about Baba, Madi. Eric Holman is a hilarious human being. I thought Cam, when he came in, complimented the group really well. AC is really funny. You know, he's got the innocent smile. That's so endearing to everybody. It was just a really, really good group of guys. You know, you got the music playing 2 hours before the game in the locker room and guys just kind of clowning around, being loose, having a good time. Those to me are, you know, the best moments. So I can't really pinpoint one funny moment. But yeah, for sure. Just the guys being the guys and being able to be around it was awesome.
We definitely had a lot. We had a lot of dancing footage too. One that sticks out to me, I don't think either of you were standing there when this happened, but I was at practice. We were heading to the animal shelter afterwards, and I won't say who it was,
Probably
but
Chad.
someone said to me, but I didn't wear my animal clothes today.
Oh,
Like,
I probably know who would say something like that. I thought
I don't know what that means.
Is that Moses?
That's what I was about to say. Probably Moses.
I'm not calling him out for it, but yes.
I mean, if you wanna laugh, Moses has probably the best sound bites during practice. Like if you just lock in on what Moses is saying, like some things people hear, some things people don't hear, but like he's kind of his own little commentator during practice. So he's a very funny human being for sure, and a great kid too, just like all these guys.
Very chatty group. Also a little bit competitive with the half-court shots. Explain the half-court shot thing, because our fans don't really get to see that except for social media clips.
Yeah, so I can't remember where I picked it up. I think it was a coach I worked for overseas. We used to do a half-court shot before or at the end of every shoot-around, just like we did this year. We did it for the Legends too when I was an assistant, actually. And you just do it. You throw some money in the pot. And if nobody hit the shot, then the money would grow, $10, $15 or something like that each week or each game. And then whoever hit the shot would win the money. So the great part about it was if you hit the shot, everybody got to go. So there could be 5 guys. We had I remember in Oklahoma City, AC, you were one of them that hit it. There was like 6 or 7 guys that hit the shot. So then those guys get one more shot. And then if neither of them hit it, then nobody gets the money. It rolls over into the next week. But yeah, if you hit it, you give yourself an opportunity to make a little bit of cash. It's nothing groundbreaking. It is the G League, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of smack talk because of it. AC hit a couple of them. You have an epic video in OKC, right, where you hit it and you looked at the camera. So he definitely didn't plan.
5 people hit after me.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't plan that. He was trying to be cool about it, but he wanted to just run around and yell at the top of his lungs.
Who hit the most half-court shots this year, if you had to guess?
Ooh,
Josh hit.
Yeah, Josh hit a lot.
He did.
Jalen hit a couple too. I was really good at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, you was.
Maybe just the natural stress of the season got to me by the midway point. But yeah, Jay Reeves. I think Jay Reeves for sure.
Yeah, Jay Reeves. It was at one point Jay Reeves was hitting them almost every time.
Yeah, and you know what? One of my favorite moments, now I'm thinking about it, was when Jeff Martin, our basketball operations intern, he hit the shot, and he was the very last one to go, and nobody hit it, so he for sure got the money. And to see, as an intern, you're underpaid, you're underappreciated, the whole bit, right? And you work your butt off a lot of hours of the day. Everybody loved Jeff, and to see everybody like actually really, really excited for him, and he was running around, and they were chasing him, and it was really cool. That was a cool moment as well.
That's great. AC, April asked where you're from. So talk a little bit about where you're from, and then how you got to the Legends, your journey here.
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and how I got to the Legends. For this summer, I played summer league with the Mavs and had a pretty good summer, and got the 2-way offer, and I was thrilled to come back because I was here my rookie year, but I only played 1 game with the Legends in my rookie year. So 2 years later, I knew that I would actually be playing with the Legends this year. So it definitely was a different perspective. So I was, definitely excited this time around coming in on the 2-way. So accepted the 2-way, and that's how I got with the Legends. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee as well. Born and raised there. Lived there all my life. And probably can tell I'm out.
Yeah, she must have been able to tell somehow because she said she's from Memphis as well. So you guys have some kind of Memphis connection going on there.
All right.
George, tell us a little bit about your journey to the Legends.
Yeah, so I got a player development internship with the Mavericks back in 2015-16 season. And then they hired me as an assistant coach for the Legends. So I was able to stay within the organization, which was, an honor, obviously, and it was a great experience. And then I got hired back with the Mavericks as an assistant video coordinator for 2 years. And then I got hired as the head coach. So started off as an intern and just kind of navigated it from there, I guess. But a lot of good opportunities came up serendipitously, and just very lucky to stay within the organization these last 4 or 5 years.
Awesome. Shirley also asked, has Baba recovered from the family afternoon at their family game night at the arena? He didn't realize how hard it was to climb up the inflatable side, and the kids wore him down. So going to that family game night, AC, I think you played somebody in Connect 4 and you lost a few times. Do you remember that at all?
I can't remember too good.
No?
Yeah, I
Figured.
don't really
It was me.
remember that night.
It was definitely me. It was not Jordan.
Okay.
I was going to say, knowing how sarcastic Brittany is, I was waiting for her to say it was me.
I think Malcolm beat me too, but Malcolm came and twisted his own rules on me and was like, we had 3 seconds to drop the Connect 4. So, I mean, he won, but he came with his own rules, but he did win too. I just thought I'd put it out there too.
He did, but we weren't going to talk about that because he's not on here to bring it up himself. So he's like ridiculously good at games like that, so it's kind of annoying. But any other kind of behind the scenes story from family game night? Let's talk about that specifically. Any other fun memories from that one you guys experienced? I don't think there were any major injuries. I think Baba has recovered okay, but yeah. I do think it wore us out a little bit more than anybody realized it was going to.
Baba ended up, I think, towards the tail end of it when everybody was just kind of hanging out, shooting around, hit like 5 or 6 ridiculous shots, like behind the backboard and like from the corner, 3 like behind the backboard. And I don't know, he was like on fire, and to see the joy in Baba's face of him just hitting like ridiculous shots, like 5 or 6 of them was pretty fun to watch for sure.
So last question, Malcolm's here. That means it's time to wrap things up. When quarantine ends, what's going to be the first thing you guys do?
Oof. Go ahead, AC.
I mean, the right answer is to say go to the gym, of course, but I'm looking forward to
we want authentic AC, okay?
I'm looking forward to like going back to watching a nice movie, going to the movie theater and watching a nice movie and getting some food. I'll say that as well.
Yeah. I guess the right thing would be to say to go into the office and start working and watching film, but I would love to just go to a restaurant or sit at a bar with somebody and just have an innocent drink or a burger and just enjoy the atmosphere of having people around. I don't know how long it'll be until we get to that point, but again, I'll never take something like that for granted ever again. I don't think any of us will.
For sure. Well, thank you guys again. We really appreciate you taking the time today, and thanks to all the fans that joined us. We'll let Malcolm take it over. He can talk about his Connect 4 victories if he wants.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for joining us. I think that the things you guys want to do are going to be here before we know it. And, one of the really cool things about the G League, and it was a question that Shirley Staten asked, there's an image or a clip from Moses playing at UCLA last year where he put his head down and his teammate came and picked it up. And just to watch, all the players, the coaches, everyone's growth year over year, but then also even within the season. And, Antonius talks about his shooting, and to watch his development as a player and his confidence in his shot over the course of the season is really cool. And the example that Shirley asked about Moses, you see that clip of him at UCLA, and then you see that he's walking around with so much more confidence this year. That's both his own maturation, but also the support that Coach Galanopoulos and the coaching staff provided to all of our players. And I think it reverberates throughout this conversation as, Coach talks about how much fun it was to be around the guys, and you could hear it in AC and, the freedom that the coaches would give them both on and off the court, but at the same time held accountable to getting better. And just seeing that growth and development is really, really cool. So appreciate Coach jumping on the call. AC, you're going to be back in the gym and in a movie theater before you know it. It's going to happen. We will do this again. So thanks to everyone who attended, and have a great weekend. Order some food in, or if you want to go to a restaurant, there are some open nowadays. But have a great weekend, and we will talk soon. Thank you.